Austria, a country with curves to die for. Heaven on earth if you love life on two wheels. We're here to meet some men who are mad about motorbikes. They like nothing better than getting up early, having breakfast and heading straight out on the road. We're being hosted by a cult motorbike magazine. It's called Der Reitwagen, the riding machine, after the first ever motorcycle built by Daimler and Maybach. Nestled in the hills above Vienna, in the most romantic landscape you can imagine, we find the hideout of the most unconventional team of reporters ever to exist. First is Berserk. We're told that he's called that because when he gets on a motorbike, he goes full throttle, and from that moment on, it's nothing but sport on the brain. He will ruthlessly blaze a trail, hoping to win, to wipe out or blame the bike. Next, there's Zonko. Legend has it that he's originally from the mountains in the west and belonged to some kind of hill tribe who kicked him out in his youth, and he kept the strange name as a souvenir. He was cast out for being too common, or at least that's the story his friends tell.
Vertrieben wurde deswegen, weil da etwas zu ordinär war. Ordinär nicht im Sinn von einfach, sondern ordinär eben.
And there's Bravo Maxa, so called because those are said to be the first words his wife called out on their wedding night. So that's our three motorheads who have been filling their own magazine with everything cool and quirky about bikes since 1987. The way it works, so we're told, is that each of them writes about what they're passionate about, and then they reach the point where they get together and tot up everything that's happened that month and talk about what they've been up to, and that's what makes the magazine.
Ja, wo sind die schon wieder?
Their editorial meetings don't take place in the office. Instead, the team prefer to meet in the Lindner Wirt, a pub that's popular with bikers.
Andy.
Berserk's been waiting for the boys to arrive and asked if they've had engine trouble. It's an unconventional meeting place, but now they're all sitting comfortably with pens and papers ready. The meeting can begin.
Ein Zettel und ein Kuli bitte, weißt du, jedes Monat einmal, der Seitenplan. Ich danke dir, Helmut, danke sehr.
The layout of the magazine is already set in stone, so they know which themes go in which area. Next to the Suzuki Intruder M1800R, there's an in-house test of the new KTM Duke. Zonko then mentions that he can also add the DN01 space glider. And last of all, there's the Honda Automatic Cruiser, which is Zonko's special test. And the meeting comes to an end as Zonko has a more pressing engagement to attend to. He's run out of cat food. His friends send him off with a reminder not to lose his notes this time and to watch out for the speed trap. Vienna, home and hunting ground for the editor-in-chief, Zonko. As long as I can remember, I've been dreaming of motorbikes, he tells us, and now he's in the lucky position to be allowed to ride some really extraordinary machines. He now can't imagine going a day without motorbikes. They're his entire life. Zonko is living his dream. A symbiosis where man meets magazine. Now the two have been drawn together, they will never be parted. It's like this, he says. I can't be Zonko without the Reitwagen. The magazine is like an extension of myself. It needs me and I need it to help me express myself. And that self-expression bursts into full flower on the pages of the magazine. Zonko says that Reitwagen magazine has to achieve a balance between photos and text. A picture speaks 1,000 words, but the text is important all the same to support those images, and they strive to produce both to the best of their abilities.
Yeah.
The DN01 from Honda. Zonko thinks back to the first time he ever saw the bike at a trade fair and thought, at last, a really spacey, out-there design. It's not just the way this bike looks that's a novelty, but it has something else to make it stand out. Automatic gears, a rest for the rider's left hand. The Reitwagen team are always looking for the best bike they can find. But, as Zonko explains, that's purely based on whether they like the motorbike or not, whether they think it's cool, whether they want one. But they never feel it's up to them to judge whether people should buy it, and the few times he has made a recommendation, he's been well off the mark. Zonko reckons automatic is the future, and more machines are now being built that way.
Nur die Funktion des manuellen Schaltens, die ist, glaube ich, umsonst. Das ist relativ hart, setzt es ein. Und ich glaube, dieses Eisen, das muss gleiten.
Time to head back to Reitwagen headquarters. Bezirk gives us the guided tour of the office and chill-out room. Everything they need to survive and a good few toys to play with. Each one of us has an ongoing project, he explains. It could be about tires or calibration, but the idea is to keep a record of our experiences, and if any useful information comes out, pass the findings back to the industry. The RC8 isn't coming out to play. Instead, Bezirk takes the KTM 690 out onto the test track. Bezirk points out the highlights of the bike. The biggest plus point, he reckons, is the framework. It's really only a bike for riders with a high level of experience, but anyone else will still appreciate the handling. Bezirk particularly likes the motor. It's a completely new approach to what one-cylinder can be in terms of character, he tells us. Up till now, one-cylinder engines were always known for being good-tempered, rather docile creatures who took a while to get up to speed. But this one is extremely agile, and fuel injection system means it gets to work right where the bike needs it. And he rates the performance as being at least as good as bikes in the two-cylinder class, so that the rider can bank on a level of power for overtaking and getting up to top speed that you would normally expect from a two-cylinder bike. But a word of warning, take care around those bends.
In kurvenreichen Straßen die Vierzylinder in Acht nehmen müssen, absolut.
This bike can really bite, and when Bezirk is on board, watch out. But with its alarmingly high price tag, you won't see many of these on the road. Berserk's golden rule is this: fun is number one with motorbikes. It's not a washing machine or a central heating boiler, it's a bike, and we need to bring out its soul. Zonko has also turned up at the test site. Alongside the fun, readers of the magazine also expect cast iron evidence from the bike trials. And the most modern motor safety center in Europe, Driving Camp Austria in Pachfurt, the team pushed the bikes to their limits. Zonko and Berserk are joined by their friend Hali. The sun's shining and they're ready to get started.
Die Sonne steht hoch wie immer, so soll es sein.
Perfekte Mittagstimmung.
Passt?
Passt.
Okay.
Photos play an important part in Reitwagen magazine, and the readers always demand one particular picture.
Wir stehen unter keinem Druck.
Berserk is keen to point out that no one bosses them around. We're not under any pressure from publishers, no one dictates the strategy. We just do what we've enjoyed since we were kids. Those who get that are with us, and those who don't aren't, and that's fine. There are no
Das
rules.
ist vollkommen in Ordnung. Ich möchte niemandem Vorschriften machen.
As far as Zonko is concerned, they're not trying to be role models or set an example. Lots of people watch some really hardcore films, but they don't come out of the cinema thinking they're Rambo, he says. And we don't expect people to copy us either. They need to take some responsibility for their own safety and make their own judgments. We're professionals because we do this for a living. But I know what I'm risking if I ride without a helmet, and I know what's safe otherwise. I wouldn't do it.
Dass das jetzt, wenn ich dort ohne Helm fahre, dann riskiere ich ja nichts. Es ist komplett sicher, was ich da mache. Sonst mache ich es nicht ohne Helm.
The Honda test is almost over, but there's just one last all-important exercise.
Das wird der letzte Testpunkt sein.
For the last part of the test, Zonko has to try and pull a wheelie. He thinks it's possible and that a good rider could manage it, but doesn't reckon he's got what it takes.
Und wir haben aber solche, und da denke ich mir, der eine oder andere wird es schaffen.
So he calls upon a colleague to have a go.
Roletten! Servus!
Rolette steps forward and Zonko explains the problem.
Die Rolette, ich habe da ein kleineres bzw. größeres Problem. DN01, aber es will nicht.
Das gibt's ja gar nicht.
A wheelie is a controlled ride on the back wheel only. Rolette knows what to do, gives it some gas and pulls back on the handlebars. All very well in theory, but not in practice.
Ein bisschen zu wenig Roulette.
Jetzt wird gewählt. Du brauchst ein Holzscheitel.
The boys wonder whether they're trying to achieve the impossible. But there's another rider who might just manage it.
Dann fahren wir zum Bauer, weil das wird nichts mehr, glaube ich. Martin!
Bauer is the next contender. All their hopes are now pinned on him pulling a wheelie.
Martin, es ist eine Katastrophe. Das ist ein wirklich tolles Fahrzeug, aber es will nicht. Wir brauchen deine Hilfe.
He says it's going to take a bit of oomph to make this happen. Zonko thinks it's just too hard. Berserk confirms it's another failed attempt.
So viel war es zumindest schon. Also, alle auch.
Man darf nicht vergessen, es ist ein Fisch. Und Fische will nicht.
But it's not just fun and games. Producing a motorbike magazine is, of course, hard work.
Der Reitwagen entsteht.
The main elements of the magazine are like any other product on the market. there are still the same guidelines and the same production methods, so sticking to deadlines to meet the print run is essential. The boys are devoted to their work, and this dedication rubs off on the readers. That's the secret. Simple, but effective. Bezerk honestly believes there is nothing better than riding a motorbike, so the aim is to try and recreate that feeling with text and photos. Zonko and Bezerk wonder if there is still any hope of getting a wheelie. There's just one man they think of who's up to the job. Welcome to Joe Zippo's airfield. This is the place where the team do all their off-road tests, and Joe is the best driver they know. In fact, they call him Mr. Cool.
Joe Zippo ist unsere Nummer 1 beim Hinterradfahren. Der Mr. Cool vom Reitwagen.
Zonko pleads with Joe to pull a wheelie. He promises to try, and if not, to make it fly. And sure enough, the wheelie doesn't happen, but the bike does fly through the air. A bit of a worry when it costs 13,000 euros. It would be an expensive day for Reitwagen if they don't bring it back in one piece.
Aber 13.000 Euro kostet es, wenn es das zerreißt. Das ist die dunkle Seite des Reitwagenlebens.
While Zonko and Bezerk watch the Honda Cruiser take flight, Bravo Maxa makes his acquaintance with another bike, the Suzuki Intruder M1800R. And he finds it very eye-catching. When you first see this bike, even before you get on it, you just need to take a moment to take it all in, just the way it looks. So what does he make of this 1800? Lots of power, good torque, and the whole thing just radiates calm. To him, it's not like nervously sitting astride a super sports bike, but just leaning back and enjoying the ride as it all washes over you.
Ich setze mich einfach zurück und lasse das Ganze auf mich einwirken.
Bravo Maxa says it's the best feeling in the world when you feel that punch kick in. So, have they had any success pulling a wheelie yet? The answer is no, but they now have their hopes pinned on Erich.
Der Brandauer, der packt es.
Despite his hefty size, Erich is actually a regular rider in the World Elite Trials. He'll get a wheelie out of the Honda, without a doubt.
Es wild!
And he pulls it off. And the boys go wild. They've done it again.
Gott sei Dank hat er das geschafft erst.
Ewigkeit.
Urbi et Orbi.
Reitwagen, flirt mal mit den Mädels da drüben.
Die wollen nicht mit dir.
brauche ich pfeifen.
Noch einmal Perry Rodan und der silberne Surfer.
Ah, nicht springen!
Das ist zu gut. Ja, so ist es schön. Danke, liebes Publikum. Herrlich.